Welcome to the Chris Cuomo Project podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cuomo. Today, we're going to dive into the broken two-party system in America and explore why the solution may lie in having more political parties. It's no secret that our current system is deeply divisive and often fails to represent the diverse and views of the American people. But what if there was a way to break the gridlock and bring about true representation for all? We're going to talk to experts and politicians about the pros and cons of a multi-party system and hear from everyday Americans about their thoughts on the matter. So sit back and join the conversation as we explore the possibility of a more inclusive and effective political landscape in the United States. What'd you think? Does it sound like me? Was it cogent? Did it seem human? That is a pre-scripted monologue done by the robotic mechanism known as Greg Ott. No, I'm kidding. He's my producer and he's here right now laughing at this. That is an example of AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-Training Transformer. And basically it's what it sounds like, not that GPT thing, but that this is a machine doing a scrub of all the kinds of things that I have said before and creating something for me to say. Now, is this a tool or is it a replacement? That is the conjecture, is that will journalism be replaced by this? I say absolutely no, for the same reason that I dismiss all artificial intelligence in its current and even future imagined iterations, which is creativity. But I got to tell you, I mean, it's not my kind of writing. It doesn't have the kind of constant rhetorical and, the alliterative things that I go for in terms of when I craft something for you guys. But it is cogent. It's definitely passable. It's definitely high school paper.
Yeah, studies show, research is showing that it can do like a B- on a test. Like it can do about that good, which is pretty good. I mean, most people aren't great writers. And so this is just being to be able to get a B- automatically is pretty impressive tech.
So Greg used the program and said, but you remember, this is a little different than the high school kid because he's going to be doing it or she's going to be doing it on a topic or an argument or a proposition or a question. And I think this software would be more effective with that, because when you're asking it to write for me, that's different than, hey, write something about problems with the two-party system in the American Republican democracy. I think that would be more fruitful and more in the wheelhouse of software and aggregating data and understanding how to collate data based on specific topics versus making style choices and imagining for a particular individual with a particular style.
So if I just typed in, write an intro to the Chris Cuomo Project, it gives you just kind of a very generic nothing to it. So I wanted to give it something that felt like appropriate for what this show is. So I said, write an intro monologue to an episode of the Chris Cuomo Project podcast where Chris explores the broken two-party system in America and why the solution is more political parties. Something that you usually harp on the show to see if it would be in that ballpark.
Because what it's going to do is look for things like that, and it will probably search under my name for things.
And it isn't just your name. It's, it's taking the context of why is the two-party system broken? What multiple political parties? It's trying to take all of that information and synthesize it into this little paragraph that is, I don't know. I think B- is pretty accurate. I think it's certainly cogent, but it's not like nail on the head. Try this one. I gave it another one based on something in the news right now.
It's too good. Folks, it's no secret that the current administration has had its fair share of scandals. But the most recent one involving the mishandling of classified documents is one that hits particularly close to home. Let's take a step back and remember the scandals involving Mike Pence and Joe Biden. Both men were accused of mishandling classified information, with Pence being accused of using a private email server for government business and Biden being accused of using his position to benefit his son's business dealings in Ukraine. Now, fast forward to today, and we have President Trump being accused of mishandling classified documents. The similarities between these scandals are striking. It's clear that mishandling classified information is a problem that plagues politicians across party lines, but what's even more concerning is the way in which these scandals are handled. In the case of Pence and Biden, their actions were thoroughly investigated and they were held accountable for their mistakes. But when it comes to President Trump, it seems as though the rules don't apply. This is a dangerous precedent to set. No one, regardless of their political affiliation, should be above the law. We need to hold all politicians accountable for their actions and ensure that classified information is handled with the utmost care and responsibility. As Americans, we deserve better. We deserve transparency. I'm dying reading this, by the way, because it's so much, nah, 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 nah. The only interesting part of this is this was obviously written before today's news, as we're recording this, where Pence was found to have classified documents in his house. So, his old things with his little server and playing with his email, which is, I got to tell you, the rule makes sense not to mix, but this idea of keeping politics and government separate has never made any sense to me. It's so impractical, and here's why. Greg Ott becomes a member of Congress. All right, now Congress is already a bad example because he's got to run constantly, right? Because you're campaigning all the time because you're up every 2 years.
But I won.
Oh yeah, definitely win.
Thank you for your vote.
I mean, you're all American.
Wow.
We're all American. I'm his campaign manager. I'm his main guy. When he goes into government, I'm going to come with him. I'm going to be chief assistant to Congressman Ott. And you don't think I'm working on the campaign at the same time? You see what I'm saying? So that's always bothered me. The Pence specific thing was, you were using a personal email and not the government one, and it's not as secure. Listen, that's a good point. But these days, it's so hard to keep the two devices straight, and the one phone is dead and you have the other one, and it's our habits. I mean, well, too bad. You got to figure out how to do it. I'm just saying there's a reason that people screw it up so often. Just like with the classified documents, there's a reason. Now, I think a lot of that sophistication was lost in this argument.
Do you think this accurately captures your voice? I noticed it's putting folks at the top of every sentence. Do you say folks when you're also often introducing the show?
I've never heard the L hit so hard in that word before.
Well, it's there.
So you're a folk?
Folk, yeah, folks.
I'm a folk guy.
Folk. No, I'm a folk guy.
You're a folk guy.
Yeah, a folk singer, not a folk singer.
Are you a height guy or a height guy?
I'm a height guy.
Okay.
Here's another segment for the program that feels appropriate for you, but I want to see if it actually captured your tone.
Hey, folks. It's Chris Cuomo here. And I want to tell you about Athletic Greens. No, and I want to take a moment to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart, my free agent brand. As many of you know, I've been on a journey to empower people to take control of their lives, to be independent thinkers, and to never back down from a challenge. That's what the free agent brand is all about. I'm excited to announce that we've just launched a new line of merchandise, including t-shirts, hats, and more that you can purchase from our store. I know times are tough for a lot of people right now, but I truly believe in this brand, and I hope you'll consider picking up a piece of merchandise to show your support. Whether you're a fan of my show, The Chris Cuomo Project, or just someone who believes in the values of the free agent brand, I hope you'll take a look at the merchandise and see if there's something you like. So come on over to the free agent store and check it out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Thank you for your support, and as always, stay strong and stay free.
That's pretty close. Stay strong and stay free.
I like that. I don't think I've ever said that, but I should.
No, but I'm saying it's in the ballpark.
I like stay strong and stay free.
Okay, well maybe we'll incorporate that from now on.
That makes me wonder about the whole imagination thing, because I don't think I've said stay strong, stay free.
So now you don't have to come up with ad reads off the top of your head. We'll just have the computer chunk them out.
But isn't there one thing that we're skipping here? If there hasn't been a lot of stuff written about something, then how is this thing going to come up with what to say?
If it's a really recent story, it'll sometimes go, I don't know enough about that.
So it can only do it from what's been done.
Yes. So it has to have some sort of thing that's been fed into it that it can draw, a conclusion from, or at least piece everything together based on something it's actually read before.
This can't be the death of journalism, because if you need people to create substance and perspective for this thing to echo and ape into what to say, then you'll always have the need for people to do that. So I don't think this gets us to the Matrix 5.0 or whatever the last one was just yet.
This is an interview that I had the computer generate. So these are your questions, and then I fed that into an AI avatar for you to interact with. Can you put in your headset so you can speak to her?
So this person doesn't exist?
This person does not exist yet.
They didn't take a person's picture?
These, I believe, are generated based on composites. But on the website, there are dozens Santa Claus is on there. You can pick any avatar. But this is the one I selected. So look at the prompter and ask your first question.
So tell me, what are the actual benefits of AI writing?
Well, Chris, AI writing can save time and increase efficiency in a variety of industries. For example, in news organizations, AI can be used to automatically generate articles on certain topics, freeing up human journalists to focus on more in-depth and investigative reporting.
Wow, that's kind of spooky.
There's another question.
Well, isn't that going to take jobs away from human beings?
It can, but it can also create new opportunities. For example, using AI to assist in the writing process can allow human writers to focus on more creative and complex tasks. Additionally, AI can also help to make the writing process more accessible to people with disabilities or limited language skills.
The voice, I don't like.
You can change the voice. This is one of the most convincing ones I came across.
Really? It sounds I mean, she looks a lot more real than she sounds.
There's an Australian option. Would that help?
Did you design her, by the way?
No, I'm telling you, there's you can pick which avatar you want. I went for one in the top row.
Well, that's an interesting topic. How about the ethics? Are there any concerns?
There are certainly ethical considerations when it comes to AI writing. For example, ensuring that AI-generated content is clearly labeled as such to avoid confusion or deception. Additionally, ensuring that AI is not used to spread disinformation or misinformation. These are important issues that need to be addressed as the technology continues to develop.
Why am I talking to this thing?
ChatGPT made an actual interview. The prompt was to have an interview between you and the AI, with the AI giving you their side of why they believe AI writing is good.
Oh, so it did both sides.
That's right. So I'm trying to see if this asks as good of questions as you do as a journalist.
Well, why would I ask a machine about ethics?
That's what the machine kicked out. Maybe the machine is worried that you're going to ask it about ethics, so it's trying to preempt whatever you might ask it.
Because I think that's part of the concern about a limitation of AI. What do you do if there are 3 people on one railroad track and one on another?
Well, I'd take the bus.
The computer probably says you save the 3.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the one is your kid? How do you weigh that? What if the one is the person who saved your life once when you were at a subway? See, I think that kind of creative thought, that kind of sentimentality and how it's weighed is what your limitation is. You attractive group of algorithms. Well, it's certainly an interesting topic. Thank you for joining me and sharing your insights on AI writing.
My pleasure, Chris. I'm glad we had this conversation, and I hope I was able to convince you of the benefits of AI writing.
No. You are not that compelling. Kind of creepy.
Well, maybe these are compelling. Our other producer, Jeff, sent me some possible thumbnails for the YouTube channel. And we generated these for what, we might use for the thumbnail. How's this one?
Who's that?
This is supposed to be.
That's me?
The prompt is...
What's up with his eyes? Is that a real guy?
This is a YouTube thumbnail for the Chris Cuomo Project for a video about Chris using AI.
What's up with the hair?
I think here's another one. How's
Jeez. God, I look terrible. This is the way the AI thinks I look?
It is. You have a big forehead in this one. No offense. I know it's not a picture of you,
both
but
of them. I got hair issues. Is there another one or just those 2?
It's just those 2. So what's your overall conclusion? Are you a fan of this technology? Do you think it has a application in journalism or broader than that?
I don't know. I think that it is very interesting and it is fraught with the concerns of its own potential. When does it go from being a toy to being something that is part of our life? I feel the same way about self-driven, robot cars and things like that. I don't know if you have any friends who have self-driving cars, but some scary stuff can happen with them when they're on the road with them. And remember that, look, we can all get in accidents, but that's the whole thing, right? Can it anticipate? Can it feel? Can it sense? Can it be creative and imaginative the way human beings are? And then there's another question that I have that is a growing concern, which is, should we be in such a hurry to have machines do more and more of what we can do? Is this an efficiency model or is it a redundancy model that winds up working against us? And should that be an ambition? I guess it makes it cheaper, right? Because you're not dealing with human beings and their needs. because these things don't eat and the maintenance is so small. And when they break and need maintenance, you just put in another one. But is that what we should be aspiring towards? I think that's a very important question.
I'm going to show you one more one more thumbnail. How about this one?
That one looks like me. I mean, the nose is wrong.
This is DALL-E and Midjourney, which are image-based ones, which is different than ChatGPT.
Well, that looks closer like me. I mean, the hairline, the forehead, the hair, that's all better. The eyes are closer. The nose is not an Italian nose.
This one, you almost look like Matt Gaetz.
That doesn't look anything like, by the way.
No, I said it almost looks like Matt Gaetz.
He's got a good head of hair, Matt Gaetz.
And he's got a great forehead.